Today we're going to talk about a really powerful psychological tool, one that's designed to slice right through deception. And the best part? It doesn't take any special training at all. All it takes is your silence.
You've been there, right? Someone's telling you a story and it just doesn't quite add up. You get that nagging feeling in your gut, but you can't really put your finger on why. So how do you get past that feeling and find out what's really happening?
Well, the answer might just lie in a surprisingly simple method. It's often called the stare the liar technique. And it's a pretty straightforward, non-confrontational way to bring what's hidden right to the surface.
So, how does this actually work? It's basically a four-step process. First, you just listen. Let them tell their whole story without interruption. Step 2, and this is the crucial part. When they finish, you say absolutely nothing. You just remain completely silent. Step 3, while you're silent, you maintain direct eye contact. And finally, you just watch, because how they react to that stillness, well, that's going to tell you everything. Now, let's be clear. The goal here isn't to be aggressive or to intimidate someone, not at all. The real point is to create a moment of intense psychological discomfort. You're basically creating a vacuum with your silence, and it's how they choose to fill that vacuum that reveals the truth. But why? Why is just being quiet so incredibly effective? To really get it, we have to dive into the psychology of silence and understand what makes this simple act so powerful.
It really comes down to this core insight. Liars absolutely struggle with stillness. Why? Because they're terrified of being exposed. You see, for someone telling the truth, a moment of silence is just, well, a moment of silence. But for a person who's trying to maintain a lie, that same silence feels like a giant spotlight. It feels like an accusation, and they worry their whole story's about to fall apart.
This internal pressure they're feeling has a name, and it's a classic psychological principle: cognitive dissonance. It's that awful mental tension you feel when you're holding two conflicting ideas in your head at the same time. In this case, it's the lie they're telling you versus the truth they know is real. Your silence just cranks up the volume on that internal conflict.
And when you look at their internal states, the difference is night and day. The liar, they're experiencing high anxiety. They're frantically running the lie through their head, scared to death of being caught, and they feel this immense pressure to say more, to add details, to reinforce the story. But the truthful person, they're calm. They have no internal conflict. They've said what's true, and they don't feel any need to keep talking.
Okay, so you've created that moment of silence. Now what? What exactly are you looking for? Let's break down the specific signs that can show you what's really bubbling up under the surface. You're really just watching for how they try to break that tension. Do they suddenly start piling on a ton of unnecessary details? Do they start over-explaining things to try and sound more convincing? And pay attention to their body. Are they shifting around uncomfortably? Do they suddenly break eye contact? Or maybe they start nervously touching their face or their neck. These are all huge tells that they are deeply uncomfortable. And this really gets to the heart of it all. A liar's gut instinct is to rush in and fill that uncomfortable silent void. They have this deep need to convince you, and honestly, probably to convince themselves, so they just start oversharing. A truthful person, on the other hand, is completely comfortable in that silence. They've already stated the facts. As far as they're concerned, there's nothing else to say. So what is the big takeaway here? It's actually pretty profound. In these situations, your silence is the most powerful tool you have.
Think about it this way. By choosing to say absolutely nothing, you actually compel them to reveal everything. You're not forcing it out of them. You're just creating an arena where their own internal pressure does all the work for you, pushing all those inconsistencies and anxieties right out into the open.
It's a total shift in perspective, isn't it? Instead of trying to demand the truth, you just create an environment where the truth can't help but show itself. Which leaves us with one final, powerful question. What will you hear when you choose to listen to the silence?